Has your friend just lost someone they love and you don't know how to comfort them? In this video, I will tell you how to mourn with those who mourn and how to comfort those who have lost a loved one. Hello Lilas fam, welcome to Let Your Light So Shine. My name is Monica and I'm glad to be here with you today. Today I'll be talking about how to comfort those who mourn. Sometimes comforting people can be very difficult, and for some of us, we run away from that task because it is so uncomfortable. But the Bible tells us to mourn with those who mourn. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to mourn with those who are going through the loss of a loved one. My passage for today is Job 2 verses 11 to 13. Please get your Bible and let's look at this passage together. Now, when Job's three friends heard of all this adversity that had come upon him, each one came from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite, for they had made an appointment together to come and mourn with him and to comfort him. And when they raised their eyes from afar and did not recognize him, they lifted their voices and wept, and each one tore his robe and sprinkled dust on his head toward heaven. So they sat down with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and no one spoke a word to him, for they saw that his grief was very great. Okay, this is the passage. This is when Job was going through his difficult time, when he had just lost his children and all that he had. And Job was mourning, Job was crying, Job was lamenting. And then his three friends came from their respective places. They came together to come and mourn with Job. And this passage tells us that they did not recognize their friend. He did not look like the Job that they knew. And so when they got there, they started crying with him. Then they tore their clothes. And the next thing they did was to pour ash on their bodies. And next, they sat with him. I'm going to break these 4 things down so that you can understand them better. The first thing that they did was to lift up their voices and cry. They cried, first and foremost, because they did not recognize their friend. They saw how much sorrow their friend was in. They saw that he was in so much distress. And because they felt his pain, they cried. That was their way of expressing their empathy and sympathy towards their friend. And so they cried out with him. They cried out over his situation. They mourned with him. And next, they tore their robes. They tore their robes to show that they were feeling his pain, that Job's pain was their pain, Job's grief was their grief, and Job's sorrow was a shared sorrow. So they tore their robes. And the next thing that they did was to pour ash on themselves. Now remember that in biblical times, pouring ash on yourself was a sign of deep sorrow. It was a sign of mourning. It was a clear crystal signal to show that you were going through a difficult time. And they too, they did not just say, this is our friend, let's watch him from a distance. They partook in his pain. They mirrored him because Job must have been the same way. Job must have torn his robe. Job must have put ash on his head to show that he was mourning. And so they mirrored their friend. They carried themselves the way he did. They expressed themselves like people that were mourning. They took on his sorrow as theirs. And they made it obvious that they were with Job in this time of sorrow. And the fourth thing that they did was that they sat down with him for 7 days and nobody spoke a word. Now this is the part I'm going to emphasize, because sometimes when we have someone who has lost a loved one, we get there and we don't know what to say. And some people will say, even before they go there, I don't know what to say. Maybe I should just stay at home. because when I get there, I don't know what will trigger him. I don't know what will make her uncomfortable. I don't know what I will say that will remind her of her loved one that she has lost. And so some people shy away from going to commiserate and to mourn with those who are mourning. But these three friends knew that it was important for their presence to be felt. They knew they had to be there physically. And so even though they did not have words, even though they did not quite know how to console Job, they had to be there with him physically. And what they did was to keep quiet. They kept quiet because there was nothing to be said. They didn't have the right words. And so in order not to say the wrong words and trigger Job or do something that will worsen the matter, they decided to be quiet. Their presence spoke all the volume. Their presence said all that had to be said. Their presence said, we are with you on this. We are with you in this trying time. We feel your pain. We empathize with you, even though we don't have words. You know, sometimes actions speak louder than words. And so their being there, their physical presence, spoke more than any word that they could have said. And so in the same vein, if you have someone who has lost a loved one and you don't quite know what to tell them, you can mirror Job's friends and what they did in this passage. Sit with them. Be there with them. Your presence is the comfort that they need. And if they happen to speak, if they decide to start speaking, start vocalizing, start talking about their loved one and what they miss about that person, all you need to do is listen. Listen, because they are not talking for you to have an opinion. They're expressing themselves because it's helping them get some relief. It is helping them to give off the feeling of tension that they've been feeling for days. It's helping them to actually start letting go bit by bit. And so what you have to do for them is listen. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to put in any word. You just listen. And if they say something like, oh, I remember how she used to like chocolates, just smile and say, yeah, that's, yeah, All you need to do is listen. Your presence is what they need. Your presence is all that they need. They don't need the words. If you don't have the right words. Because the truth is that there are some people that I have read. There are some people that I have seen. There are some people that I have heard that have said that certain things that were told to them during the mourning period triggered them, upset them, and even enraged them. For instance, some people have said that people will say, stop crying, you have cried enough. Really? Stop crying, you've cried enough. Okay. So when is enough enough? When is enough enough? If someone still has sorrow in their hearts and their way of letting it out, their way of releasing it is crying, and you're telling them that they've cried enough, does it mean the sorrow has left their hearts? Does it mean that all that they are feeling in their hearts should not be expressed? It shouldn't come out in their tears, in their pain, in their sorrow? Or some people have said, don't worry, God gives and God takes. That is biblical. God gives and God takes. But when you say God gives and God takes, some people get angry because they are like, so why did he take this one? Some people will say, but I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. Why did he not answer me? Why did he take this one? And then they now redirect their anger at God and at you who said, God gives and God takes. You may not mean anything negative. You may mean it with a good heart. You may have good intentions. But it will just trigger the person. It will just land wrongly. It will just go the wrong way, and they'll just be like, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you say that to me? How can you say that to me? You're trying to tell me that, okay, he's dying now is something that is bringing me joy. How? Or something like that. In fact, this is not even the time for jokes. Let's even talk about that. Because some people throw in jokes and say they want to crack jokes and lighten the mood. It will just land wrongly, and they will be like, you cannot be joking when I'm going through this. Do you not see where you are? Don't you recognize what's going on? Don't you know that someone has died and you're talking to me about joke? What kind of silly joke is that? What kind of silly joke is that? So it's going to land wrongly. Don't joke. Just be silent. It is just a weird time. It's a weird time. There's a lot of emotions. There are a lot of feelings. So just be silent like Job's friends were for 7 days. They were there for 7 days. They were not silent for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. It was 7 days. Even though you don't necessarily have to be with your friend for 7 straight days, but each time you're there, if you have nothing to say, just give them your physical presence and the emotional support. You don't necessarily have to speak. All right? So if your friend has lost a loved one and you don't know how to comfort the friend, you don't know what to say or do, I hope that today's passage has helped you. Why I brought up this particular passage is that sometimes we don't know what to say. And when we don't know what to say and decide to shy away and decide not to go and mourn with those who mourn, they take note of our absence. You may not realize it, but they take note of the absence. And it's something that they will remember for the longest time, because they will be like, when I was down, he wasn't there for me. When I was mourning, she wasn't there for me. And they will keep that in mind. I promise you they will keep it in mind. And one day they may say it to you and be like, yeah, but when I lost my this, you were not there. When this person passed away, you were not there for me. So why do you expect that I should be there for you in your own time of crisis, in your own difficult time? Why should I be there for you? What have you done for me? When you couldn't even come and mourn when it was mourning time. So people take notes. They say people that are crying still see. Their eyes don't go blind all of a sudden because they lost someone or because they've cried so much. They can still see and they can still take note of your absence. So instead of being absent, instead of making it look like you didn't care, because it can be misinterpreted to mean that you did not care and that is why you didn't show up. Show up there, be physically there for them, be emotionally there for them, even if you don't have the right words. So I hope that this passage has helped you to mourn with those who mourn and to stand by your friend who has lost a loved one. This is a time to hold their hand silently, even if you don't have the words. Be there for your friend, because this is something that happens to everybody at different points in time. The Bible says there is time for everything under the heavens. There's a time to mourn, there's a time to celebrate. So while it is your friend's time to mourn, just know that one day it will be your own turn to mourn a loved one. So be there for your friend in their difficult time. And when your own difficult time comes, they would have good reason to be there for you as well. If this video has helped you, please drop a comment below. Tell me how this video has helped you to support your friend who is going through the loss of a loved one. Also, if you enjoyed watching this video and you would like to see more Christian videos that give you tips on how to manage your relationships and how to build stronger ties with people in your life, please subscribe to this channel. Simply click the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel today. It is completely free of charge. You don't have to pay anything to subscribe to this channel. So click that subscribe button. Also, do not forget to click the notification button so you'll be notified as soon as I update. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it. Also, please share this video with everyone. There's time to mourn and there's time to celebrate. Share this video so that everyone can find useful tips on how to be there for people who are mourning and who are going through a difficult time. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. Thank you for giving me your time. I have a playlist in the description of this video. Go watch each of the videos in that playlist. Drop a comment on each of those videos. Thank you once more for spending time with me. Wherever you are, whatever you do, let your light so shine. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Please subscribe, click the notification button, like this channel, share our videos, and follow us on social media. Thank you very much.